skull, you know, EOP area.
We're all supposed to be
tracing. So for your tracing, you just go, woo. Yeah, this will get you practicing. Down here.
Oh my God.
Make a kite and then just straight to the middle for the spine process. So make a kite with a line down the middle, right down the middle of the spine. Actions, elevation of the scapula at the scapulo-costal joint, depression of the scapulo-costal joint. Next, at the trapezius is probably rhomboids. Rhomboids, really, you could just make a rooftop and go to the bump on the neck. You know, C7T1 sticks out right there, just like that. And draw it to the medial border, just like that, like a rooftop. Rhomboids.
Okay.
From the hump, C7T1. And you know, it goes all the way to T5, but we're just gonna draw it from there, coming down and out like that. There's rhomboids. Just draw it like that. That's all you gotta do. You just place your hands there like that, and I'll be happy. Action of rhomboids. Let's keep it simple. Elevation of the scapula at the scapulo-costal joint, and retraction, or you can say adduction, either one, whichever one you like. Retraction's good, or adduction of the scapula at the scapulo-costal joint. Levator scapulae, same as rhomboid. Keep it simple. Elevation. Well, let me trace it first. Sorry. For levator, I just use these 4 fingers from the neck because it's C1 through 4 like that, and just go to the superior angle right there. C1 through 4 behind the ear, kind of to the superior angle. There's your tracing. Just do like that. And then actions, elevation of the scapula at the scapulo-costal joint, and same as rhomboid, retraction or adduction because it's DEA. You can call it adduction of the scapula at the scapulo-costal joint. I'll give you deltoid. Deltoid. Well, I should stay on the scapula move or something. How about nah, I'll go to deltoid. Here's your deltoid. Just make a C right there at the shoulder. That's the acromion, clavicle, and spine of the scapula. Just make a C. And then come down to a point like a triangle, the Greek letter delta. Deltoid makes a triangle, just like that. Boom. Actions of deltoid. Let's keep it simple. How about flexion of the shoulder? Or, I'm sorry, flexion of the arm at the shoulder. Extension of the arm at the shoulder. Yay. Keep it easy.
Can we say shoulder, or do we have to say glenohumeral joint?
GH is good. How about GH?
No,
that's a compromise.
Yes.
Compromise in the middle.
Glenohumeral.
GH is work. That works fine.
I finally said it.
You in the bathroom with me, or just
when you don't have to say it. Okay, let's go with the rotator cuff next. Supraspinatus. Your tracing is real easy. Just start like on the top of the trap, because it's under the trap actually. So we'll start right there, supraspinatus fossa, and then just drop off the ledge. Make sure you drop off the shoulder to the GT, greater tubercle. So tracing it, man, it's just really just fall off the shoulder right there. There's your tracing. Supraspinatus, all you gotta do is one action. Abduction of the arm at the GH. Glenohumeral. That's all you gotta do for super. Just that one action. Now, if your scapula's forward, it flexes more. That's flexion. But I'm not worried about that one. Abduction. Okay, infraspinatus. You could literally just put your hand right here for your tracing. Your hand's on the hole underneath the spine of the scapula, just like that. Like you're gonna pat him on the back. Hey, how you doing? You had a good day today? Pat him on the back, right here on the scapula. See, I'm going to the greater tubercle from the infraspinatus fossa. So really just kind of place your hand there like that. See, I could even show the action of infraspinatus by wrapping around the bone. It rotates. Lateral rotation is one action of infraspinatus. And even if you put your arm up, it kind of does a similar action. Horizontal extension. So my memory trick for infraspinatus and its helper, which is teres minor, was the Bruce Lee thing where you do somebody comes up from behind you, do the back fist and the back slap. So memory trick for infraspinatus and teres minor, both of those. You know, somebody comes from behind you, the back fist, that's lateral. See, that's lateral rotation. Sorry. And the back slap. I wasn't even watching.
Exactly. That's why I had my hands right here.
this is horizontal extension or abduction. We talked about that earlier. There's a question on the test. If you 90 degrees of flexion and you go away from the midline, yeah, it's horizontal. So that's going to be infraspinatus and teres minor. Let me trace teres minor real quick while I'm here. Teres minor from the lateral border to the GT. Right there. So it's just up, but here's infraspinatus. There's teres minor, just kind of right next to them. They both do the same action. You could say the same action for both of those, which is lateral rotation. If you want to make her be Bruce Lee and make her make a back fist, wah, like that, that's
Remember
fine.
your mom used to backslap you in the car.
Rotation and backslap, horizontal extension or horizontal abduction. Very good.
I do that
very
to my
good.
husband.
So that's teres minor and infraspinatus. Now, what about lat? Lat is one you got to know. It's from the sacrum and the posterior ilium. So just kind of come up the sacrum and draw a line all the way up the spinous processes to the bra strap. That's my trick for tracing, because that's about T7. Usually it's about the inferior angle of the scapula, bra strap region. And I know not everybody's going to have one, but just kind of pretend. Here's your sacrum, ilium, comes straight up the spine, all the lumbars, thoracics up to T7. And then look, you go under the arm and show coming to the front. That's on that medial lip of the bicipital groove. So just make sure you reach under and show the front for lat. Sacrum, start at the sacrum, and then if I see you come up to the spine like that and then come under, you're good right there underneath like that. So lat, remember its actions, handcuff muscle. So we got extension of the arm at the shoulder, glenohumeral, GH. And you could say medial rotation if you wanted to, or you can say adduction.
Flashbacks.
Either one you want to do. Sorry about the flashbacks. But that's not just latissimus dorsi. The same actions we use for lat's little helper, which is teres major. Except teres major goes from the inferior angle right here. So we go from inferior angle under the pit to the front. Inferior angle under the pit to the front. Teres major attaches again to the same place as lat, medial part of the bicipital groove, medial lip of the bicipital groove. So just show it coming from the scapula, bottom of the scapula, come underneath to the front. Boom. Actions, handcuff, extension of the arm at the glenohumeral. I'm going to do adduction this time. Adduction of the arm at the glenohumeral. Bam. That's almost all the rotator cuff except for the subscapularis, which that one's under the scapula, remember? So to show that one, just kind of show, like, hold this up and just try to show it's coming from under the scapula to the front of the arm. Tickle? Yeah, you might get tickled a little bit. But just show subscap coming. Just show me it's coming out from under the scapula somehow. You know, like, you don't tickle them, but you can kind of just show it, hover if you need to. But then show it coming to the front of the arm right here, because it attaches to the lesser tubercle, the LT. That's subscap, and that sucker does one thing that y'all have to know. It wins in arm wrestling. You can just show me that way. Show them winning in arm wrestling, just like Juan over there. It's medial rotation of the arm at the GH. Medial rotation of the arm to show arm wrestling. Winning. Okay. Well, those are the main ones there. Let's look at the arm ones then. Okay, we got biceps brachii. For tracing that, make a peace sign and start on the coracoid. Make sure you're up here on the scapula. There's a coracoid. Just make a peace sign starting where the coracoid, the birds beat, the ravens beat. Ooh, ravens. Yeah, there you go. Here, from the coracoid, make a peace sign. Then come together right now over me. Then make another peace sign. So make a peace sign, come together, then another peace sign. Remember at the bottom you got the split insertion. Up here you got two origins basically, or two proximal attachments. So here, bring it together and then split it out after the elbow and you're good. That's all you got to do. Peace, come together, peace. That's biceps brachii. Actions. Now this is going to be if I say, show me your bicep, flex for me, right? You're going to do this, everybody going to do that. So what they're doing is flexion of the arm at the shoulder, GH. Flexion of the forearm at the elbow. That's both of those. And then she's flexing for me. So flexion of the arm at the GH joint and flexion of the forearm at the elbow joint. Just like you're flexing, but kind of in front of you like that. Yeah. Cool. Brachialis. Just start from the brachial region and come down past the elbow. That's the ulnar bone, but just like that. Brachialis is a deep muscle, though. Deep muscle there. Brachialis does flexion of the forearm at the elbow. Boom. You're good. Thank you. That's all you gotta do.
You say elbow, right?
Flexion of the forearm at the elbow. That's all you gotta say. Yeah. And then you got brachioradialis. That's the slap me some dap muscle. Push up. Sticks out right here on top. So brachioradialis comes from the well, it's the lateral supracondylar ridge of the humerus, but we ain't gonna worry about that. We're just gonna start up here above the elbow and make sure you come down like a hammer fist all the way to the bottom. That's the styloid process. So for brachioradialis, just start up here somewhere and make sure you get that big wad of muscle there. See that one right there? Boom. Action is flexion of the forearm at the elbow. And you know what? This is brachioradialis will always, it may even be easier just to do this. Supination of the forearm at the radial-ulnar joint and pronation of the forearm at the radial-ulnar joint, because it does both supination and pronation. It can act on either one. That's probably easy to do. But you can do, flexion of the forearm at the elbow and supination of the forearm at the radial-ulnar joint, if you like. Either one. I just think it's easier to do that, supination and pronation of the forearm at the radial-ulnar joint. That's what I just adjusted. Yeah, man, that's all the majors right there, except for the pecs. So pec major, when you draw that sucker, you're gonna be sternum and clavicle, and then ribs, the costal cartilage there. So make a hovering circle. Just kind of hover like that, and come to. Make sure you come over here to the arm. The arm. Don't do pec and just stop right here on the chest. Make sure you bring it to where it attaches on the arm. That's the lateral lip of the bicipital groove there. So you don't have to be specific, but just make sure you come to the arm with it. Pec major, keep it simple. Flexion of the arm at the glenohumeral joint. Extension. Remember, because it'll pull down back to neutral. So flexion of the arm at the glenohumeral joint. Extension of the arm at the glenohumeral joint. And then my favorite one that everyone gets, pec minor. So important for nerve entrapment, vessel entrapment, helping people with this posture that we see all the time. Pec minor is from the coracoid to ribs 3, 4, 5. So it actually runs diagonal, kind of like this. So if you found a coracoid and just hover over the breast, about nipple level is rib 5. So again, no palpation there. Just kind of go this way, just like that. Pec minor. And pectoralis minor is responsible for protraction of the scapula at the scapulocostal joint and depression. Just make the shoulders be forward and down, rounded shoulders. Remember, that's a rounded shoulder muscle. Protraction of the scapula at the scapulocostal joint and depression of the scapula at the scapulocostal joint. That's the major muscles right there. Bam.
Bam. Pow, right in the kisser.
At least for the upper part. We good.
Okay.
So how many
That's
of those
it?
we're gonna have to do?
Yeah.
We're gonna do all of them.
You're gonna get 6.